Hi, Gina with today's thought, and today we'll be going very shortly to a video of a woman saying what I wanted to say today, but she says it much better than I do, so I'm going to let her speak. But the bottom line, give you a little summary of what this is going to be about today. Biden withholding weapons to Israel, basically just about any offensive weapon. They've been talking about precision missiles, but it's turning out, or precision bombs, but it's turning out to be even some small mortar rounds, things like that, tank shells. Anything that would be used in Rafah, anything that would be used to allow Israel to win, to wipe out the last few brigades that are surviving of Hamas. Biden, for all practical purposes, he's allied the United States with Hamas. Hamas has been they're holding these sham negotiations in Egypt, which make no sense at all because Hamas never changes its position that they want a complete end to the war, basically Israel to surrender and leave Gaza and let Hamas reconstitute all its battalions, repair, rebuild all its tunnels, build new ones, build more rockets, start sending them against Israel, and all Israel apparently is to be allowed to do is to sit there and let the rockets come, and they can use anti-missile missiles to shoot down the rockets, some of which will inevitably get through, and just wait for another attack. They are not allowed to take any action to defeat their enemies, as far as the United States is. Now, I played you a statement by Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, a few thoughts ago, saying that if Israel has to stand alone, Israel will stand alone. But this is it. As others have said, this makes no sense. They're denying. They say Biden is saying that he wants to spare civilian lives, but is withholding precision missiles, so Israel, precision bombs, so Israel is going to be forced to use dumb bombs, which will do, which endanger civilians even more. But let's be very frank, what this is all about, and it's all about, as I've said before, as many others have, it's all about winning Michigan. It's all about winning the election, and it's all about, well, they shouldn't have been surprised, but I guess the Democrats are surprised to find out that there are so many anti-Semites in their base, especially, as I was saying, in Michigan, Dearborn Heights, Michigan. I'm from Michigan, by the way, so I know Dearborn Heights, and Hamtramck is another part of Michigan. It's a little enclave within Detroit, and that is a Muslim majority, just like Dearborn Heights. And if they just stay home, they alone can cost Biden Michigan, and all he cares about is getting reelected. And if Israelis have to get killed, which is not just Jews, by the way, there are Christians, 20% of the population is Muslim, but Biden doesn't care, and it's really what it really boils down to. As I said, it's a cold political calculation, but it's also, well, you know what? I'm going to let, her name is Caroline Glick. Now, Caroline Glick is an American Israeli. She's born in Chicago, but she's Israeli, has been for practically her whole adult life, as far as I know. But she's a very well-known commentator. She has a podcast, but she's appeared in numerous publications. I'm just going to let her speak. She lays it right on the line. She just tells exactly what's going on, how craven and corrupt the Biden administration is, but not just Joe Biden, but and I have to say now, the Democrats, unfortunately, if they're supporting him. And when are you Jewish Democrats going to wake up? Actually, one already has, Alan Dershowitz. You all know him. You should be familiar with Alan Dershowitz. He has a podcast, and he said the other day that he heard about yesterday's podcast, that he heard about the withholding of these weapons. At that time, it wasn't confirmed by the administration, but he said if it was, then he would no longer be a Democrat. And he would not vote for Joe Biden. I think he would probably vote for RFK. And he would be well advised to see what Robert F. Kennedy Jr., what his position is on Israel. And before, why go from the frying pan into the fire? And just vote for the same thing. But he said that he will campaign against Joe Biden if he does what he just did. So we'll see what he does. But all you other Jewish Democrats, especially those of you, the Bernie Sanders people who they're with Joe Biden and with Hamas. It's just, here, I can't talk anymore about this. It's just a shame. So here is Caroline Glick.
During the years of the Holocaust, all of the nations essentially were agreed that the German idea of annihilating the Jewish people was a good thing. That they were fine with that. That they got what the Germans were up to, and they thought that was just cool. That was fine, and they weren't going to get involved, whether it was Roosevelt or any of the international leaders. Obviously, Churchill. Prime Minister Netanyahu claims that he tried to intervene, but the British military wouldn't let him. That's probably true. But, Roosevelt absolutely prohibited the U.S. Army from taking any action to save the Jews. And, of course, he blocked the Jews of Europe from seeking refuge in the United States ahead of or during the Holocaust. So, and it's similar today. And so if we look at what Netanyahu said about the fact that 80 years ago there was not one nation on earth that was willing to stand up for the Jews who were completely defenseless, I mean, we can look at it today and say there's no nation on earth, not nation in the sense of people, but nation in the sense of national government today on planet Earth that is willing to stand with Israel, that is willing to, say that good is good and evil is evil, and not the opposite. Evil is not good. Evil is evil. Hamas is evil. Israel is good, and you stand with the good. You don't stand with rapists. You don't stand with child killers. You don't stand with murderers. You don't stand with people who incinerate entire families in their homes. You don't stand with people who call for the annihilation of all the Jewish people, and they take every action they possibly can to advance that goal. You don't stand with the Iranian regime against the Iranian people. You don't stand with the Iranian regime and its terror proxies in Lebanon, in Iraq, in Iran, in Syria, in Gaza, in Judea and Samaria, in Yemen. You don't stand with them. You stand with the people that they stand against, because in the case of Israel, and even the Sunni Arab states, you'd be standing with the good guys. You stand with the good guys against the evil guys. But, as Netanyahu said, they believe these lies, these nations of the world, the governments of the world, because they want to. And why do they want to? Because we're Jewish. Because anti-Semitism that was kept in abeyance for 80 years in the West is back. It's roared back to life. And it is the life force behind almost everything that we're seeing in relation to Israel and the Palestinians today. It's an incredibly horrible situation, but it is the situation. And so just as 80 years ago, all the nations of the world were pretty much agreed that Hitler had a good idea there to kill all of the Jews. So today you have a basic unanimity of opinion led by the United States with all the nations on earth behind it, saying, yeah, it's fine. Let's protect Hamas. Let's empower Iran. Let's make Iran the regional hegemon so that we can reach a balance of power. Let's weaken Israel. Let's weaken the UAE. Let's weaken Saudi Arabia. Let's not allow them to retaliate against Iran for attacks on their territory. Let's only allow them to take defensive actions to intercept Iranian missiles en route to their lands. Let's not allow them to take any offensive action against Iran's missile sites, against its nuclear sites, against its drone training and development sites. Let's not let it take any take any effective action against its oil pipelines, its oil installations, its gas pipelines, its gas installations. Let's not allow it anybody to take any action against Iran. Let's empower Iran still further and all of its proxies. Let's ensure their survival, and let's ensure that they really have no major price to pay for their massive aggression against Israel or any other regional actor. That is the policy that is being followed by the Biden administration today.
As I said, she's saying everything that I wanted to say, but she's saying it much better than I would have. And that's my thought for today. Thanks for stopping by. If you could subscribe, that would really be great. Share this video with anyone you think would benefit from it. Your comments, of course, are welcome below the video in the comment section. But most of all, come back and see me again. I would love to see all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.